Hi guys, welcome back to the third episode of the EPL Showdown. Here we'll be previewing fixtures, we'll be reviewing fixtures, we'll be having debates, and maybe even fantasy football. Here we have with us Sehaj Mehta, who supports Chelsea. We have Vinamra Sarogi, he supports Man United. We have Dino Saigal, he supports Liverpool. We have Jeet Shah, who's another Chelsea fan. We have Manan Gandhi, who is a Spurs fan. And me, I support Man City, Jadon Fernandez. Let's go. We have another Arsenal fan, Vedant Shastri, but he couldn't take the L, so just six of us are here. Let's get right into the fixtures. Spurs versus United, Vinamra Sarogi. Let's get right into it. What are your thoughts on this game, man?
So what I felt is that we started off pretty well for a change. We were dominating Spurs, which under previous games we wouldn't have. So what I feel is that in the first 20 minutes we had some sort of control of the game. Like we didn't do a lot, but we were like still dominating possession. But like, see, I'm not giving this as an excuse, but after the drinks break, there was some sort of a concentration level drop, which shouldn't happen given the stature of the players. And it was a very silly goal to concede. I mean, Maguire, he did so well in the match, and that one mistake cost us one goal. So you can see how ruthless the Premier League is. And I think he really needs to improve on his one-on-one defending. He gets very easily beaten on pace. And it's debatable whether Lindelof could have done a little bit better by recovering or covering, trying to block the shot. And De Gea, as I said before, this has been his worst season since. Don't doubt me. I mean, I think he still is one of the top goalkeepers in the world, but I don't know what is happening with him. And Dean Henderson might give him quite a run for his money next season, probably. And moving on, I think from say around 20 to 35 minutes, Spurs had some sort of control of the match. But then after 35 minutes, I think it was all United. And then once Pogba came on, doing that amazing skill on Dyer, he really won the penalty. And I mean, some sort of control. He finished very well towards the end. And I think at the end of the day, it was a very deserved point. But I still feel we could have gotten all 3 points, probably with better finishing.
To be fair, Tottenham did have the better of you all till the 70th minute, and until the change, they did seem to have the upper edge. What are your thoughts on that?
So I
Tottenham
Do you
dominating
think
over United.
Oli got the lineup wrong?
so
Yeah, that went well.
see, I mean, you can say that he got the lineup wrong, but at the same time, we don't know that what was the fitness levels of the players. We don't know whether Pogba was, and as we all know, he has been criticized earlier for a lot of injuries, probably unjust criticism. So probably he wanted to ease him into the lineup as he did, giving him 40 minutes towards the end, 30 minutes probably. So I don't think he got it wrong, but I mean, it's just the first game back. So like obviously you expect people to be rusty. Fred, he didn't have the best of performances. McTominay, I think, was very solid. He did he did the right thing. He did all the passes and all short passes, simple things he did, not too extraordinary, but it did help us. And Bruno, you could see that he had a little bit of rust, but overall, I feel ki this match wasn't as the lineup was pretty well. I mean, Matic and McTominay and Fred were performing really, really well before the lockdown, so I think they deserved to start. But now probably in the Sheffield game, I think Matic and Pogba should start so that it gives us the best balance in the midfield.
Do you think Roy Keane's comments are justified towards Maguire and De Gea?
So Roy Keane is that he obviously, I mean, whatever, he's one of the best players ever to play in the Premier League. He's a United legend, captain, fantastic. I feel some of the comments were probably unjustified as to the De Gea one, that he's very overrated. But at the same time, I can understand why he was very pissed at Maguire because, I mean, I'm sure all of you all seeing that goal would be like very pissed at how the manner in which the goal went. So I think the De Gea the criticism was probably a little extra, but at the same time, Maguire was probably justified.
But shouldn't that have been a routine save for Dyer?
So I think the power of the shot is probably so you never know how fast the shot was. I mean, De Gea has set his standards so high that kind of a save should be made by him. But
But then, bro,
I think genuinely this save wasn't even like bad
Yeah,
as
it
it was
was.
bad as compared to any keeper. Let it be a keeper
Yeah,
of Aston Villa, Brighton, anyone. So it's not like Daya has set his benchmark very high, and that's why this save should have been very
bro.
easy for him. This was a very easy save in general. So it boils down to Daya making a bad save. There's nothing. It's just that.
In
So
terms of
like I don't.
benchmark, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because like this was a shot straight at him. Like irrespective of the power, you should at least be able to parry it out.
So no, no. What I was saying is कि if a lower level keeper would have saved it, sorry, would have missed the goal, or considered the way De Gea has done it, he would have not got as much stick as what De Gea has got. So I'm saying कि
Bro, I think
since De
that's
Gea
obvious when you
has
play for a top club.
no, so that's what I'm saying. De Gea has set the standards so high in the previous seasons that him making this mistake is um, probably gotten the criticism which he shouldn't have. But at the same time, I've admitted on the podcast that he is not on top form. And as I think I've read a tweet or a Gary Neville interview where he said ki a 6 month period where you're not performing is a dip in form. But this has going on for probably last season. Also, he was not in the top of form. So
Two,
this
3 years, I'd say, to be honest. Yeah.
2 years. I mean, before that, in 2017-18, won the Golden Glove. So I think last year
All right.
dip in form, but now it's starting to become permanent. So it's probably it's a worry for Solskjaer, and now he has a big decision to take whether to get Dean Henderson or to choose De Gea. But I personally would continue with De Gea.
That's saying something because Dean Henderson is quite emerging to be the best young goalkeeper in the league right now.
But bro, if you see,
And
bro,
it's pretty
So
clear, like if you choose De Gea, you lose out on Dean Henderson. And it's like a trade-off.
no, I don't think we lose out on him. We probably loan him out again to Sheffield for one season. Aid his
But then, bro,
development.
there are reports that say that Dean Anderson wants clarity over his future this summer. He's not
So
ready to go out
yeah,
on
so
further
as I
loans.
said, that it's a big decision to make in the summer for Solskjaer, whether to loan him out, to sell him out, or give him the number one spot. So I mean, it's all the time will tell as to what is the situation in the summer transfer window.
Right.
All right, then. I think let's move on to Spurs then. Let's get Manan's
Yeah.
perspective of the game, shall we? Manan Gandhi, bro. What a game it was for Spurs. What are your thoughts on this game, bro?
Okay, so 1 minute, can you all can hear properly now?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Go on then.
Yeah. I think first half Tottenham played well, and I think they deserved the goal that they scored. But I think due to the fitness level of the attackers, I think in the second half they couldn't cope up with the pressure United was putting on the defense and the midfield of Spurs. And I think after Pogba came on, it was all United till I think probably the last 10 minutes or the last 7 minutes. So yeah, I feel at the end of the game, a draw was deserved for both the teams.
Uh,
Manan,
do you
what was
think?
going?
Yeah. Go on, Serge. Go on.
Manan, what was going through your head when you saw Aurier, Dyer, Davinson Sanchez in the backline over Toby Alderweireld and Vertonghen? Yeah, when the lineups came out, I was like, if if I think if with the same lineup, if Tottenham tried to play an attacking game, I think Manu would have easily beaten them 3-0 or 4-0. I think Manu's counter attack is one of the best counter attacks in the league. But since so what I feel is it's not only down to the back four that did well. I think the way Mourinho sets up, it's even important for the wingers and the two midfielders sitting in front of the defense that protect the defense very well. So I feel the uh, good players of United were finding it hard to find space around the defense to probably take a shot or look for a pass or something like that. So yeah, I was worried when the lineups came out, as you all know. But in the end, I expected one player to make a mistake out of all the four in the back line, and it turned out to be the case. So I'm not that stunned at what happened, but yeah, overall, I was happy with the defense.
See, Manan,
Also, like, hmm.
go on, Jeet.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you, what did you make out of Harry Kane's performance and Mourinho's recent comments on it?
I think yeah, Harry Kane was not up to the mark in the game. I think he had fewer touches than probably Lloris or Daya also in the game. So yeah, but I think Kane could hide after this performance because he came after a long time and he had his first competitive match after 6 months. So I think it takes time for players to get into the groove. And I think this was such a high intensity and important game that Kane found it tough to do well against Maguire and Lindelof. So, but I feel I always knew Kane will take 3 games maximum to get into the form that he normally is.
And I
So,
think to add on to what Manan said, I don't think either of the strikers got much time on the
Yeah.
ball. I don't think Martial made a huge impact. I think it was more of a midfield battle rather than attackers going at defenders and running them through.
Yeah,
So
so I think
I
yeah.
think it's fine. It's
yeah.
because of the tactics, because United were trying to get through the Spurs defense, and as they obviously couldn't in the first
So
half.
what I feel is that we shouldn't make too much of this performance, but obviously Spurs should take a lot of positives in the way they defended. First, like after a long time, I'm seeing so much the defense being so compact, following Mourinho's instructions. So I think it's positive signs can be taken, but as Manan will probably tell you all that defensive mistakes, they are very prone to defensive mistakes, and that will let the team down probably in the future.
Yeah, about
Yeah, there are a lot
the
of
go on, Manan. Go.
yeah, there are a lot of individual mistakes in the players that played that day. So, for example, on that day, Dyer had a good game, but still he made a mistake which cost the team 2 points. So, looking forward, for example, in the West Ham game, if the same back four and Lloris also, who is known for making mistakes, play, if again they have a good game, but if Sanchez, for example, makes a mistake, so you can say that overall they have a good game, but in the end they cost points, like 4 points, even if that game is a draw. So I would obviously prefer Alderweireld to play. Probably Alderweireld at this age is not a better defender, and Vertonghen also, but I rely on them better because they don't make individual mistakes that the defenders do.
Right. And you
Right,
can
fair enough.
see the Mourinho settling into the team. You can see when the fullbacks go out wide, you can see the midfielders coming back to track their man. As we saw Bergwijn coming in when Aurier was
Yeah.
going, Rashford was taking him wide and Aurier was going right. So we could see
Okay,
Bergwijn
Manny.
coming into the
Manny, one last question. As a
position.
Spurs supporter, were you scared whenever, especially in the fourth quarter, whenever Bruno had the ball with him?
Yeah, I was scared. I thought in the second half, Spurs were going too deep to defend. And I was, of course, scared when Bruno and when Pogba came on. They both had the ball because they have the quality to unlock defenses that stay deep and don't attack. But even I had one question that I wanted to discuss with you all. Can I ask it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this game benefited Marino because Tottenham went 1-0 up, so they could defend for probably the entire game and come out with a draw or a win.
This is
But
going to be my question. Yeah.
what do you all think if, for example, if Manu went 1-0 up, do you all think the Tottenham players could come out of the groove and start playing possession and attacking football in any
Damn good
game,
question.
not only this game? Because I
So,
feel the mentality of the players is to defend even when they go 1-0 up, and it's tough to change that mentality even when you go 1-0 down.
so what
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
is
yeah.
I've experienced this probably because Mourinho was a United manager before this. So Mourinho's how the way he sets up his team is to not concede at all. So if they concede, it's a big problem for them because then the way he has set up, it is probably to not concede and hit them on the counter. So he probably would the if United would have scored first. This is what I feel. He would have probably found his team would have probably found it hard to get back into the game. But at the same time, Tottenham's attack quality was probably much better than what United had. So yeah, I mean, it could be a question of yes or no. I mean, probably. Let's see what other guys have to say about it.
I agree with Manan saying that if Spurs hadn't scored the first goal, I wouldn't see them coming back in the game. Just because if United ended up taking lead, I would have seen Oli probably would have put 7 defenders on the pitch, and I don't. And Spurs' attack wasn't that sharp on the day, so yeah, probably United would have got the win.
Yeah. I feel if
Yeah.
United would have taken a lead, it would have suited them only to then play on the counter attack and then defend the whole game. I think they
Yeah,
would have
because
gone on to
Oli,
win probably
yeah,
2-0 or 3-0 then.
Exactly. So that's what I think. exactly what Manan said. If United were to score one goal, it would be in their favour, because I don't think Spurs even have that kind of special unlocking the defense kind of player like
Creative
Eriksen
player.
was. Yeah,
Eriksen,
I don't
yeah.
think they have that kind of player anymore who could just put up a pass that no one else can see and
All
open
right.
up defenses.
I guess we should be moving on then. So, Vinamra, as you saw that United ended the Spurs game on a high, they came out with a probably positive result, you may say. Do you think they can actually continue this form towards Sheffield, considering that Sheffield do not have Henderson in goal?
So, so basically, I think,
And they are missing Egan and O'Connell as well in
yeah.
defense.
That is well.
So so what I feel is that the Spurs result was probably a positive in terms of the performance, but as a result, probably you might be frustrated as to we lost 2 points. But moving on now, it's Sheffield United. It's our top four competitor, so I think our players should be up for the game, and we have an added advantage of their main players missing. So we have no excuses to drop points, but at the same time, we've found it very tough to unlock defenses this season. So I'm just hoping for the best, and hopefully we can get the 3 points on the board, which we really need at this point.
That's fair. All right, then moving over to Spurs. I mean Spurs face West Ham right now. Manan, you
Yeah.
did mention a point that Spurs still do have a little tired legs. Do you think they can possibly get the result versus West Ham, considering that West Ham are probably fighting the relegation battle and they might come out with a good performance?
Yeah, considering West Ham are fighting a relegation battle, and it's also a London derby, and it's the most important derby for West Ham fans and players. So I feel they'll be up for the game properly. But seeing the press conference of Mourinho today, he said that Lucas Moura and Dele Alli are back, and for the first time in his Spurs tenure, he has 6 attacking players to choose from. So, and he was looking quite positive in the press conference. So, I'm hoping Spurs to get a result. But I still worry if West Ham score the first goal. I doubt Spurs will be getting more than a win. They might just nick a draw. I just worry that West Ham don't score first. Yeah.
And in the reverse fixture, if I'm not wrong, West Ham won their first game at the London stadiums, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. It was they won.
So
Yeah.
you can expect an upset over there. Fine then.
Yeah,
Moving
yeah.
on, let's
Yeah.
get right into the next fixture. It was Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 2. Let's get right into it. Jeet Sahaj, what are your thoughts on this? Let's go Jeet first.
I think it was one of those standard games for Chelsea this season wherein they dominate the ball, a lot of possession, a lot of chances created, but no one there to finish it off. And then you just know that the opponents are going to score by a set piece. It's the same story yet again. But I think Lampard's substitutions worked out. Pulisic was raring to go. He came on right there at the right time, finished off Aspie's cross. I think that was a good time to get the second to get the equalizer so that we had time for the other goal. And then I think Giroud was trying hard throughout the game to get his goal, and I think he did his job in the end with 3 points.
Yeah, so the main, I think, thing that surprised a lot of Chelsea fans were Loftus-Cheek playing left wing instead of Mason. We thought Loftus-Cheek would be in the middle and Mason would play on the wing role. But I think that made space for Alonso to go up because Loftus-Cheek was coming deep and sitting narrow. So
Yeah.
Alonso could go wide and put his crosses and put his. So I think that might not have worked the best way because we didn't see much of Loftus-Cheek. So I think Pulisic, when he came on, he was very bright. So I think that will be the way we go forward with Willian and Pulisic on either wings. But yeah,
Yeah,
as we
yeah.
covered in the previous podcast, the marking isn't great, and from set pieces, we're a big liability, and that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
proves to be our.
Were you all
Yeah.
shocked that Tammy Abraham didn't start?
Not really, to be
really.
honest. Like,
Yeah, like Giroud has started 5 of our last 5 games in all competitions. So I think Lampard has realized that we probably need that target man in the team so our crosses can have an end product. And Tammy's the learning. He'll definitely be our first choice someday, maybe next season, maybe not. But yeah, he has a lot to learn, so I wasn't that surprised.
yeah, I was
Do
I
you all
was a bit surprised that Tammy didn't come on earlier though. He did come on very late in the game.
hmm.
So Sahaj
Do
and
you all
Jeet,
think that Lampard probably got the formation wrong? I mean, obviously after the substitution he corrected it, but initially was it a wrong formation? You think?
No, I don't think he changed the formation after the substitution. The formation was still the same. And I was actually quite
Okay.
happy with the formation because we went back to Kante playing in a pivot, which I think is his best position, rather
Yeah,
than as
that's
an
true.
RCM or a LCM in a 4-3-3. So I think he got the formation wrong. It was just a case of players being rusty after the break because Loftus-Cheek obviously is playing after a year and he's not playing in his natural position. So I didn't expect Loftus-Cheek to have a very good game. I just hope that he would see out the game without another injury, and that's a positive that I take. I
So
think he just yeah.
Sehaj and Jeet. So I watched the game and I saw Christensen making that mistake which almost cost you all a goal, and Rudiger also
Yeah.
having that wayward pass. I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but do you all think that's down to their ability or that's down to just them being rusty?
I think
So
it's
I
pure
don't.
confidence issues.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're the best with their feet either. I think they are a bit rusty as well, but they are not the best in terms of quality as well. And we saw for the first goal, Christensen was the one who turned off at the rebound. Like when Kepa made that save, you could see Christensen standing there and not attacking the ball. And West Ham players, three of them attacked the ball, and that's what got them the goal. So I think they
Aston
need
Villa.
to. Sorry, Aston Villa. So yeah, I think a little bit of rustiness as well, and they need to be a little more alert, which I think will come with time, hopefully.
Finally, we all know what great squad depth Chelsea has in their midfield. So do you all think they need to probably offload 1-2 players so that like everyone gets an equality of opportunities in the side, or do you all think this is good for competition, and it won't reduce morale of certain players who aren't playing as often as they would like?
No, Jeet, do you want to take it?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. I feel like we've got I don't think we have way too many midfielders. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of options that leaves 2 or 3 good players on the bench every game. But I feel that helps bring out the best in them. And when you are at a top club, you cannot expect to have a cemented starting spot every game. So I do believe in competition. I do believe in having a healthy squad depth. So I don't think that's a big issue. That's just beneficial for the club as a whole.
Yeah, and if you're competing for like 3 or 4 competitions every year, I think you need that kind of squad depth because if you have a couple of long-term injuries or done for, and with the Premier League, you have to keep rotating your squad around. So I think it's fine. The number of players we have right now is fine, and a lot of them are very young as well. So it's not that they're in their prime right now and we have to pay them every week. So I think it's a perfect balance.
All right. Towards the
Okay,
end of the
so
Aston Villa game,
um,
one second, let me just. Towards the end of the Aston Villa game, Chelsea were looking a little shaky. I mean, it did look like Aston Villa could get an equalizer. Do you think that this is probably because of a defensive defense problem, I guess?
So the thing is, Chelsea. I'm never properly convinced of Chelsea's defense. At any moment, they could concede a goal, and I've seen this happen a lot of times before. Even against Sheffield United, last minute
Yeah.
we concede some kind of mistake, and it happens. So I don't think even the manager himself is very confident of our defense. So that's why
Agreed.
I think Kante's actual best role is in the right centre mid position because you get Jorginho that sits deep and then Kante can do the job of 2 people going up and down the field. So that's why I think it adds more defensive stability to the team rather than Kante being CDM and then we having 2 attacking midfielders. So I think there is something that we need to solve in the defense.
okay,
You're
so
asking me.
Jeet and Sej, I have 2 questions, or maybe one question. Moving forward for the next 3-4 years, where do you all think Chelsea have to strengthen? Give me one priority position where you all think Chelsea have to buy someone.
Centre back
Wo-
easy
Yeah.
for
World
me.
class centre back, definitely. First
For both of
priority.
you all, centre back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, I'd say centre back. Second would be left back, and third would be an elite attacker.
Okay, so since both of you all said centre back, who do you all feel in the upcoming transfer window you all can buy? Any centre back from any team you all prefer in the
In the
Chelsea team?
world, or it has to be realistic.
Realistic.
Realistic
But
for
to
Chelsea, I
but to
think
be
they can
honest,
buy anyone. It's not
yeah,
a
yeah,
thing of being realistic. But
yeah, agreed.
yeah, from the world, any centre back who you all
See,
can
I
buy.
think,
obviously, I think Koulibaly would be a great buy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
think we should go on. Jeet, sorry.
No, I'm saying Koulibaly is definitely an interesting option, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Declan Rice end up at Chelsea because he's definitely not one of the finest centre backs in the world right now, and he actually plays more CDM for West Ham. But I think his
Yeah.
versatility could attract him to the bridge, and the fact that he's ex-Chelsea, he's been in the academy, and how the current staff loves the academy boys. I wouldn't be surprised if Declan Rice ends up joining Chelsea. But then, if you ask me, what would my first choice be? I think I'd say Koulibaly as well.
Okay, and from the EPL, any centre backs you all
I
would
was just
like
coming to
to back?
that. I think instead of spending 40-50 million for a defender abroad, we should look in the Premier League itself because we have a good lot of centre backs, young centre backs. Tyrone Mings, I think, is a very good centre back. Connor Cody, I don't know if they'll be able to perform at the level that Chelsea plays at, but I do think they might be better options, if not for long term, for short term. I think Lewis Dunk is a great centre
Lewis
back.
Dunk is a good option,
Yeah,
yeah.
same. Yeah, I
Uh,
feel.
And
yeah,
especially like
Uh,
if Brighton go down, then Lewis Dunk does become a very possible signing. I feel,
yeah,
yeah.
given
I
So
that
I
he'll
think
go
feel.
there
cheap.
are quite a few.
I think
Hmm.
Lewis Dunk and Soyuncu would be a good partnership for Chelsea moving forward as
I mean,
a
I don't think
centre
Chelsea are
back
going to
pair.
buy two centre backs and give them the starting spot. I think either
I
of
think he'll.
Tomori, Christensen, or
Tomorrow
Zuma will
exactly.
continue to play. I think it's about pairing them with an elite world class leader like Liverpool
Yeah,
have
with
done
a
with Van Dijk
yeah,
and Gomez.
yeah. Okay, ठीक है.
That's why I
All
think
right.
Done.
Chelsea will.
So, guys, I mean, obviously, also Chelsea's probably not so good finish towards the Aston Villa game. How do you think Lampard would approach a big game versus Man City?
I think I've seen it every time Chelsea play top six. They never go in as underdogs. We go in playing our football irrespective of the opponent. I haven't seen Chelsea. I mean, Lampard will maybe tweak his formations or the players he plays. But I don't. I never see him playing like a park the bus formation just because we're playing City. I think we'll still go
Yeah,
all guns blazing. We'll play our football. Doesn't mean we'll get the result. We'll at least be honest to the kind of football we want to play. That's what I
Last
think.
Yeah,
time, I
That's
I
mean,
don't think
last
he'll
time,
park the bus, but
last time
I think he
Chelsea
will be
tried to play their own
more
football.
pragmatic.
So, one second. Last time Chelsea tried to play their own football at the Etihad. The result was, I guess, what 6-0.
That
No,
was
it was a
under
2-1. It
Sari.
was a
it
2-1
That was
was
under
two
last
one.
Sari.
season. This
6-0
season we
was
Under
actually
probably
Sari.
you all probably
yeah
remember the 6-0.
yeah
Yeah,
6-0 was just an occasional
that's when
blunder.
you all try to play your own football.
Yeah, but we've also tried to play our football so many times. We beat you 3-1 the season before. Even this season we took the lead at the Etihad, but then considered two goals, I'd say, down to defensive issues. But I mean, results never make me shy away from playing the football we want to play.
No,
I
I
wouldn't
I
want
think.
to
think
like
Chelsea had a
yeah
very good game at the Etihad in terms
yeah
Yeah,
of it's
definitely
the first time I
definitely
think a opposition team at Etihad has more possession than City has had
yeah
in a long time.
yeah.
I
That's what I
think they
like.
had very good.
but I think he will go for a more pragmatic approach rather than playing against how we would against Aston Villa or
I
other
mean,
smaller
obviously, we're not going
teams.
to end up with
Yeah.
70% possession, but it's also not going to be a case of 30%, I feel.
Hmm. But
So
more or less, yeah,
considering
I
all,
think he'll play the same way.
Hold on.
okay,
So, since you all have highlighted your concerns regarding Chelsea's defense, what do you all think? Do you all think he should stick to the same one, or like what are you all expecting any changes to the lineup? Not only the defense being probably the priority, but in general, do you see Tammy starting over Giroud, or probably RLC dropping
Mm,
and Pulisic being given a
I think RSE might drop out of the team or maybe into the
yeah,
midfield. But I don't think he'll drop Mason. I think
yeah.
Mason is going to play every game.
Mason put in an amazing performance bro, last
yeah,
game.
And he
Mason.
brings the
Best player,
energy to the team.
no doubt.
So I think RLC will be dropped. And
Yeah,
the rest, yeah, I think in the last podcast I said that these were my four best defenders for the starting lineup except Alonso, but he's been doing pretty well defensively as well. So I don't think there's a need to change that.
but I did think Alonso had a poor game against Aston Villa. Sorry.
Why do you
So
say
I
so?
feel
In terms of
because he couldn't complete a single cross, to be honest. And secondly,
Oh,
do you remember that attempt wherein he was free on goal 1-on-1 and he could have
yeah,
taken a
he
shot
cut
with
it
his deadly
inside.
left foot and he cut it in for no reason. So I mean, Emerson
The
could start against City. I
cross.
feel.
I think the thing is, Alonso has been doing decently. The crossing and everything you can put down to just being rusty. You saw
Yeah,
everyone in the Premier League
yeah,
has been putting
fair enough.
crosses across the field and behind the goal. So I don't think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a very good
Jaden,
thing.
so I mean, City. I mean, considering the rustiness and everything, they put on a very, very good performance against Arsenal. I mean, I know it's Arsenal.
Huh.
I still think that City did was pretty sharp. So, what are you expecting? Do you think Aguero will start? I mean, a lot of FPL people have been asking this question, and they are very
Yeah,
inquisitive.
yeah.
so
Please,
uh,
please.
it
He's
depends on the Burnley game. I mean, if he starts in the Burnley game, then probably he'll start on the. I mean, Aguero should be there versus Chelsea. I mean, considering his record versus Chelsea, I feel he should be there. But it depends if he starts against Burnley. I mean, Pep should rest him against Burnley and
uh,
probably start
No,
Jesus or
don't
someone.
say this.
no.
Don't say.
But
And
let's see. I
do
mean,
you do you see what do you so now since they're playing Burnley the next game, and then then the big games Chelsea. What given Eric Garcia is injured, what do you think who should replace him? Given that City have always had that problem next to Laporte.
I feel Laporte is the main defender. So anyone generally coupled, I feel Otamendi coupled with Laporte is quite a good pairing to be fair. But Otamendi alone is quite Otamendi with say Fernandinho is not that well. So if once Otamendi is paired up with suppose a guy who's established like say Laporte, then I would say that he does perform well. So yeah, Otamendi would be a replacement.
Yeah, so Jaden, we know Sane is leaving City at the end of the season mostly and going to Bayern. So do you all feel City need to replace Sane, or do you all think you all have enough squad depth in the team?
I mean, is such a world class talent. He's such a top player, obviously. So it will
Yeah,
be hard. I mean, on the left wing there won't be anyone. But at the
yeah,
same time, no player is bigger than the club. We have to move on. I feel
yeah,
we have quite good options in the academy. I feel we have Jaden Braff. He's quite good. We have, I mean, there's an option of Harvards from Bayern. Then there's Leon Bailey. So there's quite a lot of talent where we actually can get. I mean, I know Leon Bailey when he was probably what 15 or something. He tweeted that he wants to be at Chelsea. But I
Yeah.
feel that
Doesn't matter, bro. After Nicholas
he
Pepe, I
can
don't care.
actually,
Nicholas Pepe said the same
he
thing.
can
Ended up at
probably.
Arsenal, bro. I don't give shits anymore. People who want to play for Chelsea when they're young.
So
I
yeah, I
see you're
mean, we
comparing
have
him to
to.
Pepe.
No, bro. Comparisons with Pepe, we should just leave that for Twitter, bro. Okay, so my question to Jaden is just one game week before Man City played Arsenal, and you seem pretty confident going into that game, almost sure of a victory. But now that you're playing their better London neighbors in Chelsea, what is your confidence level going into the game? Like, do you still feel like it's going to be an easy win, or do you consider Chelsea as a threat in terms of the result to Man City?
So I've seen Chelsea's attacking. They did try and stretch Aston Villa. Considering that Aston Villa actually set up their defense pretty well, they did stretch Aston Villa. So I mean, they could stretch City as well. But at the same time, City's attacking options are such that I mean, we could probably, I don't know. It's the attacking options is so much that City would actually go on and win this game, not comfortably, but it would be a tight game. Not, and we wouldn't get a clean sheet, I guess, probably, but it would be a tight game. But I expect a victory.
Okay, so you expect Chelsea to score, but you still think you'll edge them and get a
Yeah,
victory.
I guess. Yeah, I feel that
Same
way.
as
Yeah,
the reverse fixture, I guess.
probably. Yeah.
I think you were more confident going playing Arsenal than Chelsea.
I mean, come on, it's Arsenal. Yeah, come on.
Okay, I just wanted to hear that.
Jaden, what
What's
do
up?
you what do you make of Raheem Sterling's form?
Raheem Sterling, obviously. I mean,
Finishing
he's been starting, stopping, starting, stopping. So, putting a final like this, he's been pretty bad this season. There's no hiding away from that. Last season he was amazing. He was probably one of our reasons why we won the title. But this season he just stepped off the gas. So I feel, yeah, I mean, he needs to improve. He can improve. He has a potential in him. But at the same time, he has that, whenever he goes to take a penalty, I'm never sure that he'll score it. So he always has that, lack of judgment at times. So he can improve in that. I feel that that's the thing he can improve on.
Do you think Sterling has actually been bad? I just think his finishing has been subpar, but I don't think he's been bad at all.
So
Yeah,
the
I
thing
feel
is that
overall
all,
he's been good.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
he's been good.
his finishing
He
has let him
contributes to
down.
the attack. Yeah,
so in last season he was actually the finisher of many moves. This season he has moved on to a role as to creating moves, making spaces, pulling defenders towards him, and that's stuff.
Okay.
So that's why he has actually not contributed in many goals. But at the same time, he isn't being in the places where he's supposed to be in.
Jaded, are you sure about that? Because I've seen Sterling and I've seen a lot of the City games. I've seen Sterling get into the right positions, and I don't think his role has changed much. It's just that he's not finishing as well,
Yeah.
but I don't think his role has changed that much.
So the thing is that his finishing last season, his finishing was pretty good. This season, obviously, he's getting into good positions as you said, but like I don't feel he's doing enough. I mean, he obviously gets into pockets, but he's probably not doing enough to get the final output which he maximum potential which he reached last season.
True.
Okay, what are your views about the Chelsea City game?
Chelsea City, as I said, like Jeet said, I mean Jeet mentioned before, I mean it's a, I mean I can expect goals. I can expect that City is winning, but it would obviously be a pretty hard game. And Chelsea does have a lot of attacking options, and considering, I mean, we have our defense there, but they can stretch us and can pull us apart at counters probably.
I think it'll be an amazing game to watch. I genuinely feel
Oh God.
it'll be an amazing game.
And like if Chelsea can somehow manage a good defensive performance, I feel we got
I
a
think
magic in the bag.
I think it all boils down to how Chelsea performs defensively. I mean,
Agree.
Hmm.
I
if I
think
look at it,
Yeah.
if I look at it,
Chelsea's
I think
best.
both teams got defense on the line.
That's all. That's why I think Chelsea's best way of trying to win this game is to not defend, just keep the ball and attack them. Is my thinking.
Yeah, because
I
True.
think
City,
their attack has
City
to be
even
their best
against,
defense.
But bro,
Because
said
like even against
if you sit,
Arsenal,
Hmm.
against
It's
Arsenal, like
Arsenal,
Shastri
but
would say
bro, bro.
that we played well, like we contained them, but one mistake. But you could see City like making it was coming. So if you're playing so deep and you're letting City architect the entire game, they are gonna come and bite you hard.
so bro,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree, but I
because
can guarantee you Chelsea won't be sitting deep. It's just about
Yeah, not like
playing.
Arsenal.
Yeah,
bro,
definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
bro, the thing is they
No,
need to
bro,
get
that's the worst. They can't middle it. They can't try to defend but not stay deep as well. If they're
Yeah.
defending properly, if they have to stick together as a block, if they're properly defending,
Mhm.
they have to set out to defend. I don't think if they go half-heartedly, like we'll defend and we'll attack, I don't think that'll work.
bro,
They
they
No, it's
have
have
not
to
to
have
about.
a
they Chelsea's midfield three as see this is I'm comparing as United fan. I think when United plays City, they have if not won this midfield battle, they have been on par with De Bruyne and McTominay and Fred have always been on the case of De Bruyne and David Silva, whoever is started on the left centre mid. So what I feel is that Chelsea has to get some sort of control in the midfield. I'm not saying they haven't. I'm saying to win the game, they have to try and win the midfield battle as well, or try to at least get somewhere near to De Bruyne. Because if you give De Bruyne space, I mean, we all have seen what he can do with the ball. So I feel that will be the key to the game, and obviously the defensive performance as well.
So moving on to the Liverpool fixture. So Liverpool played Everton at the Goodison Park and obviously drew 1-0 all. So Dino Saigal, bro, what are your thoughts on this game? How do you think Liverpool fared?
So I certainly feel the performance of Liverpool was below par, and it's fine. Like I think it's a first game, so I don't think much should be made out of it. And but at the same time, I don't want to defend Liverpool saying it was the first game, so this performance is accepted. I think we clearly lacked a lot of clinical touches in the box. I hardly think we did press, we did have possession. I think possession was 70-30. But all that secondary, we didn't get any real clear-cut chance where like we're like on the sofa and like yelling oh or something like that. So it wasn't that sort of a attack from Liverpool. And I think Everton also played really smart. Like they know Mane is dangerous from a long range, and the moment he was cutting back in, they stuck out a leg, they fouled him. So I think I'm not gonna come and criticize that oh they shouldn't play that. It was a very smart play. So they contained Liverpool from all ways. And I think one positive we can take from this game is that Robertson, who's been very, very key, was injured. But Gomez really filled in well. Even after Milner got injured, he really came in well and shined. So,
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, lot of room for improvement, but it's fine. It's just the first game, and let's see what happens.
Do you
Do
think?
you think
Bol.
do you think Everton deserve to win it based on the chances they got?
I think, yeah. So considering that, I think Everton deserve to win it because of those end chances that they got. But like at the same time, I would defend it saying that they hardly also got many chances. They got those chances they got better chances, but they didn't get as many chances. Like they
I
finished
think
well in the 88th
Everton
minute and 70th.
I don't remember Liverpool getting any,
same.
just to be honest.
No, they
So
did.
that
They
way,
did get one chance. That's I remember.
Which
no, I
one,
mean,
Manan?
The Firmino chance, where he dragged it wide. I think it was
yeah,
a very good
Firmino,
chance. He could have
it
laid
was
it
a
off
good
for
chance.
Mane or
I think
Keita
there were
to
three. Yeah,
have
there
it
were
done.
three. It was 3-on-2, I think.
Yeah,
It was, yeah, it was.
But
I think
that was one
Richarlison could
good.
have easily scored. He had like 2-3 proper chances,
Bro,
and one he could have
Richarlison,
Yeah,
laid it off
same.
inside
Yeah.
for Iwobi.
Richarlison had two chances. Calvert-Lewin, Davies. Davies at the post.
Hmm.
Yeah, he
Calvert
was. I
But I
Lewin
think.
didn't
think
have any clear
Calvert-Lewin,
chance.
I
I
think
think
Calvert-Lewin did have
Calvert-Lewin
a chance. That
was
back
Yeah.
heel was from Calvert-Lewin, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Back heel
matlab, he did
attempt.
well
Yeah.
to
so.
improvise.
Calvert-Lewin even he put Richarlison in through
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
when
he
Calvert-Lewin
did.
is
Richarlison took it wide.
Calvert-Lewin is thriving under Carlo Ancelotti. I think the same I
Yeah. Calvert-Lewin is a
Yeah.
big
He's got the best out of him.
star. Yeah. He has big potential.
So, Dino, do you think that Liverpool's draw was mainly because of Salah's absence?
Not see. I don't think if Salah would have come also. Like I can't see that we would guarantee a win. So I don't want to see that. Oh, we missed Salah and that's why we dropped points. Nothing like that. But yeah, for sure, being how good Salah has been from the past 3 years, 2 years. Sorry, this is the third season. Yeah, but so yeah, we certainly missed him in the game, and I think that part of Liverpool was clearly exposed. Like if you're missing one of your front three, you are clearly significantly weak.
exactly. Yeah.
So they really, but I think knowing how like Klopp is a smart guy, so I think there will be some good transfer this season, hopefully.
Yeah. So
So the question,
Yeah, go on.
very
as
go on.
as you said, I mean, Liverpool have struggled when they haven't had that front three. I mean, they struggled against United as well when Salah was absent. They struggled against Everton. Watford was probably an exception. Watford did play very well that on the day. That's why I was just saying, ki, what as you said, ki Liverpool's main one of their weaknesses was exposed in terms of Minamino hasn't really adapted to the Premier League yet, and Origi, I have not, I don't know what he does. I mean, he hasn't performed consistently enough for him to be a Liverpool player, according to me.
Yeah, so Origi for sure has got us all the critical goals, and he's a good player. Like, but at the same time, I can't. This I'm sure like he's not the finest player to come in the first 11 team sheet and all. So that way, yeah. So I understand Origi has like Liverpool has got exposed against Everton, having we being lost Salah. We were not an attacking best for sure.
Yeah.
So, you think, considering Liverpool's, I mean, they don't have a proper attack now, and they, as you said, they are being exposed. Do you think you could afford another slip up against Palace?
And we have a lot of room for that. We've created this comfort. So that's what I'm saying. This Everton game, I don't consider it to be a slip off. It's a Premier League. You're going to have competitive games. I can't just because Liverpool is dominant, you can't expect them to come out and win every game and be at their best. There'll be times when the front three is sitting. There'll be a time when Van Dijk is sitting. So if it results in just dropping a few points, I don't think much should be made out of it. So it's fine. We did a cushion where we can afford slip ups. So it's fine. And it's not a slip up, exactly what I'm trying to say.
So that, I mean, even as per, if to you it's not a slip up, but the thing is that this is only the third game the entire season Liverpool have failed to get 3 points. So as per that standard, it is a slip off in my opinion.
No, there have been so many difference of ones. We have won a last minute penalty against Sheffield. There have been Sheffield. So that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I can say it very clearly. Liverpool isn't as dominant as what the table is showing you. We've had our tough games, but what is really just good about this team is the consistency which is coming after 50 years. So that is what's shining.
Well said.
So
Well
do you expect a positive result versus Palace then?
Against Palace, again, I think it's going to be tight only, and Palace has been performing well in this season. But let's see, hopefully Salah comes in. I don't want to, that's what I'm saying, I don't want to make this excuse that, oh, we get our front three back and now we win. We should play well, barring even if they're playing or they're not playing, or at least have a positive impact in the game. So, yeah, like I'm expecting a positive result from this game for sure.
Okay, guys, this was it for this episode. Here are our predictions. As you can see, these are our predictions. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. What do you think of this podcast? What do you think we should be covering? And probably even get in your predictions as well. For now, goodbye. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, guys. See you all.
Bye, guys.
You.
All the best.